Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today for a first look at a car we have all been waiting for, the brand new BMW M3 Touring competition with xDrive. The M3 competition, the first time in BMW M's 50-year history, the factory have released in production form a touring estate version of the 3 Series from BMW M. We're going to go through the car in detail, of course, take a full look at it. Obviously, a lot of things in connection with the M3, the G80, the regular saloon, the sedan, and also with the 3 Series Touring. But this happens to also include some of the updates as part of the LCI, so the new interior, the dashboard, the displays, and we'll take a full look at that and talk about where exactly it sits in the lineup. But this is a car that's been teased for a while, but it is here now, ready to be looked at in full, the new BMW M3 Touring. Of course, we're starting from the back. That's what sets the new car apart from its siblings in the 6th generation now of the M3 and the M4. So this is the codename G81, based on the 3 Series Touring. The G80 is the M3 saloon or sedan. The G82 and the G83 are the M4s, the coupe and the convertible respectively. Now this is only available in the competition spec. That means you've got the 3-litre twin-power turbo inline 6 making 510 horsepower with the 8-speed M Steptronic Auto, but also only available in the xDrive configuration. Now for the saloon, you can have the non-competition, which has the manual and only 480 horsepower, and you can also have the car either as rear-wheel drive or xDrive, but of course this is honing in on more of the practicality elements, so it is the xDrive competition version, the full 510 horsepower with 650 Newton meters and the 4-wheel drive with the auto gearbox. Of course, a lot was said when the M3 launched with the dual grills like this, the very tall, prominent kidney grills at the front, the evolution of that design. This maintains that same front fascia. The colour of this car, by the way, is chalk. I think it suits it rather nicely, especially with the interior that we'll take a look at in a moment. A lot of the other elements are carried over. You can notice the 50th anniversary badging, the heritage badging, only available in this 50th year to celebrate BMW M's history. It's an option pack in addition to the other options that you have available for the car. Of course, a few things under the surface have to be reconfigured for the slightly different shape, but this still packs a punch. That power and the all-wheel drive system means it can do the 0 to 100 km/h sprint in just 3.7 seconds. That's the 62 miles an hour, or it can go onwards, of course, to a top speed of 280 kilometers an hour. That's 174 miles per hour in an estate, in a wagon. Infinitely cool. Of course, we need to come and take a better look back here. Signature M, you can open up just the glass, signature BMW, I should say. Plenty of storage back here. We'll go and have a look at those new displays in just a second. And in fact, we'll take a full look through this. But obviously, having the tailgate like this in an M car is a lot of what it's about. Never previously has there been a factory 3 Series Touring from M. There was a concept of the E46 way back, and there's also been some bespoke builds along the way, including an E91 of that generation. Very special things, but obviously this is now an actual production car direct from BMW M themselves. So I want to show you inside, because this is where a fair few things have changed. You might notice instantly those larger displays for the driver. This is part of the LCI, the Life Cycle Impulse, the update, the refresh, the facelift, you could say, of the car. We've got the Fiona red leather here and the black, the dual tone with the red stitching. Obviously lots of technology packs that you can add and choose. We've got the folding carbon bucket, a very cool seat that was introduced with the new M3 and M4, but having a carbon bucket in a car with a wagon, that's pretty cool. Back here, just to show you those. Look at that, lovely carbon fibre. Very firm seats, I'm not going to lie, from experience. And obviously there was a lot of talk about this piece right in the centre. But if I step in, just to show you what we've got here with the LCI, these much, much larger digital displays. A new look, an M-specific look, in fact, controlled either as touchscreens or using the selector in the center. Just to go through this a little bit and show you what we've got. If you go into the menu, for example, you still have the M Drift Analyzer, which will literally monitor how well you've drifted your car around when you've turned traction control off, which is quite a fun feature to play around with. You've got access to all sorts of other controls, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, on this very bright, very vibrant screen in the center. In fact, it's really quite impressive. It looks fantastic sitting there, curving around, the two displays almost as one. There's a larger screen for the central panel, but just attached to the dashboard, folding around on top of this carbon fibre, which is an option pack. Of course, being the M Steptronic, you've got the 8-speed auto gear shifter in the centre. You have your familiar controls for setup and M mode, for example, when you press those, where you can adapt all of the different controls from the engine, chassis, steering, brake. You can change the brake feel, which is quite impressive. The M xDrive system that you can put into the various different controls. Of course, even when you do go into the two-wheel drive, that does mean you obviously have the weight up front, but you have all of the fun that you could possibly imagine, and the M traction control settings as well. And you also have the M modes. So when you press the M modes, this is where you can put it into, for example, the dedicated track setting, which effectively it needs to be turned on, but will turn off this display and give you just the focused information that you need on the main dashboard right in front of you. Talking steering wheels, we've got the leather steering wheel in here. We've got the carbon inlays, the M1 and M2 buttons where you can configure all of the settings, and obviously those will, in this case, jump, including putting the traction control into a slightly lower setting. You've got the carbon fibre shift paddle sitting just behind those, but it's a very, very nice place to be. And that's before we look back. Obviously, the elongated platform, more room in terms of the headspace, and also obviously plenty of storage space in towards the very back itself. Now I want to pop open the engine bay briefly. We'll have a look at this. Let's jump out for a second and go have a quick glance. Also got the upgraded Harman Kardon audio system available in here. And obviously up front, we've got this power plant that I'm familiar with from the miles I've driven with mine. One change, this will be in gloss black, the BMW M Power logo, but that 3-litre inline-six turboed, making 510 horsepower. A little bit down on the M4 CSL's 550, but 510 horsepower in an all-wheel drive family estate car is not exactly too shabby in the slightest, especially taking it on to that top speed. Close that back down. Of course, we've got this aggressive shaping over the bonnet as well, the styling of all of that. I want to have a quick look at the available space in the back of the car. Obviously, as we mentioned, you've got those carbon fibre backed seats up front, which do look amazing. You can select the normal seat. This is an optional upgrade. The normal seat is also very supportive and really comfortable, to be honest. These just have that extra, I guess, wow factor, given how they're presented. And back here, a sea of nice red leather. Pop open the central armrest. You've got a little bit of storage and some cup holders here. And obviously the through load system with the seats also folding in individual parts, should you wish to maximise the practicality in the back. We've also got the privacy glass back here, so it's quite dark with those tinted windows. But obviously 3 Series, so slightly smaller platform size. If we come around to the back, just open this up, show you a little bit more of what we've got going on back here. Obviously, as per 3 Series Touring, you've got some storage cubbies, you've got a little bit of space under the boot floor, you've got this extra part as well to put up the net if you need to carry around your pet at speed in your M3 Touring. You've got the luggage cargo net, which can either hook in there or can be folded in to go up and down with the boots, depending how you would best like to have that, or just take it away, or fold down the seats, whatever it might be, to make it as easy as possible, using the levers right here. In fact, just to do that, give you a quick demo. That is a whole lot of space in a very fast M car, exactly what you want in a car with the quad tailpipes. The same exhaust options available as per in the saloon sibling. And we also have the carbon fibre exterior pack here as well, which happens to look particularly nice around the back and everywhere else, obviously, that you have those components. Now, in terms of the LCI, it didn't change too much with this car. That might come further down the line, so we still have basically the same exterior look as before. Nothing dramatic has changed on that front. You obviously have the gloss black badging with the M3 competition. That was a competition specific element. You've got these shaped tail lights back here. The heritage badges continue around. You can have the traditional logo should you prefer, but there's something special about that 50 years of BMW M. And obviously what this represents, because while there have been a few M5 Tourings over the years, specifically of the E34 and then the E61, as I said, there's never previously been an M3 direct from the factory. People have made them themselves, but it's not the same. This is straight out of the plant. The M3 competition. You also have the gloss black parts here. We've got the carbon mirror caps. The gloss black roof is standard, by the way. You can opt to have that in body color should you prefer, but gloss black is the way it comes by default. And it just gives a little bit lower weight to the body of the color of the car when you're looking at it, and gives it a little bit more of a sporty presence as well. which is always, I think, a very nice effect on something like this. You've got all of the usual assistance systems, the connected drive sensors, cameras, etc. The head-up display in there for the driver. You can see just how big that curved display is that runs around the dashboard. So up front, you can opt to have the radar sensor. This particular car doesn't have it, but for your adaptive cruise control, you've got the parking sensors, all of the other creature comforts and daily usabilities that make a car like this just that little bit more practical. And then in terms of airflow, you can see all of these openings again, finished with carbon fiber around here for the cooling to come through the car, and also the aerodynamics as it's guided around the side. This is the same wheel design that we've seen before, but obviously finished here in the gloss black with the red calipers to match the interior. You can, again, fit a number of different options depending which way you'd like to go. And we've got the Pilot Sport 4S tyres on here, 19-inch wheels front, I think 20 inches at the rear. But other than that, it's a formula that has gone down so well amongst petrol heads over the years, and I know so many people have been waiting to see this car. Perhaps some might be slightly disappointed at not having the option to have the rear-wheel drive manual, but I imagine the order books for those would have been quite sparse, to be honest. This is the configuration that makes the most sense for a car that fits in this segment, this category, so that is exactly why they have gone in that direction. But when you combine all of the tech, all of the features with the practicality of something like this, it's a pretty perfect one car for all purposes, and this will near enough match the saloon at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Won't be far behind at all. Obviously not too much added by weight and driving dynamics, set to be much in the same ballpark. I would imagine the driving experience will be very, very equivalent as well. Just quite enjoying sitting in here. It's one of the coolest estate cars that's existed, certainly at this level and price point. Got all the storage and practicality, the carbon cover, the key for the car. This is the BMW standard M key with the stripes on the side of it, your wireless charging pad, your USB ports, your 12-volt plug socket just in there. The controls that you have around in the middle here. You can obviously adjust everything, your drive logic for the gearbox to change those settings as well. M modes set up, good cubby storage in here, USB-C port, decent amount of space, and obviously at the moment with the seats folded down, a whole lot of room behind, whether it's to take the family, whether it's to go to buy some furniture, transport the dogs, who knows, could be for anything. A lovely illuminated M3 badging on the seats, these nice details on the seat belts with the red and dual blue stripes as well. There are a lot of very nice touches to this new M3, to the M3 Touring, I think we can call it just for short. This particular car having only travelled 24 kilometres. We just wake it up for a moment, press brake. I think I can start it. Let me give it a go. There we go. Lovely. Just to see what the displays look like. See, obviously the speedometer comes up the left side, the rev counter over towards the right, and various different graphics and indicators as to what's going on. A little M logo down here, your warning lights off to the left side, plenty of information. And this is with the exhaust open, but if you go into your various modes, you need to go into M1, can't be activated at the moment. We've got four-wheel drive, and this is where obviously if you've turned off traction, for example, if you press and hold here and turn it fully off, MDM is a nice mode in the middle, we'll activate DSC off, activate anyway. Oh, you can completely set it all up. Let's go xDrive setup. Here, M traction control. Ah, you need to put it into two-wheel drive. Gotcha. So this is the funky thing, right, of learning all of the settings. If we go into here, DSC off, activate, we can set it all up. You get the point. There's a lot you can play with, a lot of settings you can change, and it's all touch controlled as well, and it all works really, really quite well. So it's just a small delay on it here, but you get the point. Cycling through settings, you name it. It's switched off for the moment, given that we're inside in the studio, but a whole lot of different things that you can configure from the lighting. I love these kind of screens and displays. I like how also it shows you on the right hand side your current drive setup and configuration and how exactly that is all set at that particular moment in time. So what a cool thing, hey? What a nice place to be. Obviously we've got a full roof, normal grab handles around, sun visors, lighting in the centre, all of the different things you'd expect. Rear view, you're obviously looking, if I can show you part of that, quite far back towards the rear window. Not the biggest of visibilities, but then hey, that's the side effect of a car of this nature, hey. Stepping out is a little bit awkward from these buckets because you do have to step over the bolsters you win some, you lose some, you get that extra lateral support while you're driving. And these are electric as well, so they do a bit of movement around, depending how you want it, forwards, backwards, and the backrest forwards and backwards as well. So down here for the powerful tailgate. But yeah, that is, I think, more or less it. The car that many have been waiting for, as I said, the M3 Touring, and a first opportunity to see it during its launch, as it's just been presented to the world. So what do you think? Very pleased with what they've done, or hope perhaps for something a little bit different? All I know is it's going to be a cool car, and I cannot wait to get behind the wheel of one. That's it for now, though. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, I appreciate your support an awful lot, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.